Welcome, everybody, to a special edition of Dave Cooper Live. Today is not going to be a product spotlight, but we are going to discuss Katerra, and we have some of the biggest industry leaders on the show today. So we are not here to discuss why they failed. We're here to talk about the people who are focused in their strategy, who have a vision and proven tactics and are achieving success. Have each of these industry experts hit roadblocks? Of course they have. But these people are lifelong learners that are willing to teach, share, and collaborate with us. Today is a terrific example of that spirit. We invite you to share your take on the learnings and how we apply it to achieve future success. We also extend a hand to all Katerra employees. Let us know how we can help you find your next career. At Dave Cooper Live, we are bringing you the people and the processes that are building it better. Our guests and topics include experts in building systems, building science, building codes, and the tech used to build it better. We are always seeking out the best and the brightest in construction and discovering all of the ways that innovative buildings come to life. With that said, we cannot do these shows without our sponsors. So a quick thank you to Howick. Howick is a pioneer in technology of precision light steel roll forming machines. For over 40 years, their commitment to innovation in cold form steel, also known as light gauge steel, precision manufacturing, uncompromising quality, and exemplary customer service have defined the Howick way. Their commitment underpins the competitive advantage by their customers. To learn more, visit their website, howickltd.com. All right, so let's get to it. Without further ado, we will bring in our guests. First one to join us is Helena Lidlow, Lindbacks. Helena, thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much, Dave.
Absolutely. We also have Hardy Wentzel from Structurlam. Hey, Hardy, thank you for joining us.
Hey, good morning, Dave. Happy to be here.
I'm glad you're here. We also have the one, the only, Gerry McCaughey from Entekra. If you don't know Gerry, who doesn't know Gerry? He's all over social media as well. Gerry, welcome.
Top of the morning to you all.
And we're going to have Ben Hershey is going to be co-hosting with us today because Ben crosses all the platforms with the Forward Solutions Group. And what I mean by that is, Ben, you have been in the components industry a long time, and you work with industry experts in all verticals across the offsite industry, not only here in the United States, but globally. And so everybody knows Rick Murdock, the CEO of Autovol, will be joining us as well as soon as he's wrapped up with some meetings in the next 15, 20 minutes or so. So with that said, welcome each and every one of you. Why don't we just take a quick moment so those of people that do not know you can get to know you a little bit. Helena, let's start with you, just who you are and what your title is, and we'll keep it pretty short and simple.
Absolutely. I work with Lindbacks Bygg. I'm from Sweden, and we're producing timber lightweight modules. I'm the head of R&D, so I've been working with this building system for maybe 20 years now.
Great. Thank you very much. Let's go to Hardy. You're up.
Hi there. Good morning, everybody. Hardy Wentzel. I'm the CEO of the Structurlam Mass Timber Corporation. We're headquartered in Penticton, British Columbia, but are right now expanding our footprint into Arkansas with our second mass timber manufacturing facility that should be live in August.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Hardy. All right, Gerry McCaughey, let me put him up there. Gerry, you're up.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Gerry McCaughey. I am CEO and co-founder of Entekra, based here in Modesto, California. I was previously the co-founder and CEO of a company in Europe called Century Homes that was in panelization going back some 30 years.
Great. Thank you. And go ahead, Ben Hershey, you're up, Forward Solutions Group.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. Ben Hershey, I'm the CEO of Forward Solutions Group. We provide solution services to companies throughout the industry, but specifically focusing on the offsite manufacturers and those that are really trying to change the dynamic of building as we know it.
Yeah, thank you for that. So outside of the conversation we're going to have about Katerra today, this is a big deal having all of you on show, industry leaders from different verticals, whether it's modular, volumetric, panelization, components. having you all come together to talk about how important this is and to collaborate and share your learnings and what your thoughts are on this is an amazing opportunity for all of us out there. So I personally want to thank each and every one of you. And I know our guests and our viewership think the same. So let's hop into this right away and get down to business. We're going to talk about the first question. We're just going to round robin this. And Helena, we'll start with you, and then we'll go to Hardy, Gerry, and then Ben, you can dialogue and add to it as well. First question is, what are the biggest learns from Katerra in your mind? What are our biggest learns, our biggest takeaways?
I think it's an impressive audacity, really, to do this kind of movement, and you invest a substantial amount of money into an industry that's been around for quite some time, and then start to innovate that. And the big learns are maybe from my viewpoint that I know that if you want to really change something in this industry, you need to be slow and long term, and you need to be very focused. And I think maybe Katerra was moving a little bit too fast, at least for my taste. And for me, it looks like money doesn't solve everything.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you for that. Go ahead, Hardy.
Yeah, I'd add to that the although Katerra was a very much in a mass timber manufacturing space, but their business model was far more expansive than just mass timber. So, my company is a pure play mass timber business. I have learned over my several years in the industry that if you're going to pioneer something like an engineered wood product, for example, you need to be very, very focused and dedicated. And the learning I took from what's happened with Katerra is they had a very large business model. They were going to be in construction services, renovation services, and they acquired a lot of companies along the way that could help them realize their vision. But I think they just ran out of runway because their plans were very, very grandiose.
Yeah, for sure they were. Gerry, what's your take on this?
I suppose I'd sum it up probably in one line, which is nothing beats experience. And I think that's probably from all of the news media and all of that you've heard over the years. It was a group of people who came together that maybe had a very good idea, but I think lacked the knowledge and experience of the industry. Although at other levels inside the Katerra organization, obviously there's very, very experienced people, but I think at the leadership level, there was a lack of understanding and experience in the industry, and I think that was probably the most critical element that was missing from the business.
Yeah, for sure. And Ben, what's your take?
Yeah, I just want to add to it. Gerry, that was a great comment, because I think it is one of the key things is there's an lack of experience at the the leadership areas. But I always look at Katerra, and what I always tell people is, one of the cool things they did was that they moved that conversation in our industry. We've got people like everybody that's on your show, Dave, today, who have been very effective in talking and moving the dynamic, that conversation of our industry that we needed to change. And so clearly Katerra wanted to do that, but they were biting off so much at one time. And they really just fell victim to that. They fell victim to that lack of experience at the management level of what the building industry really was previously. They understood, here's a goal where we wanted to go in the future, but it was that lack of experience of how to get them there. But again, I really applaud them, because they moved the dynamic of the conversation, and all of us started, really saying, hey, why are we doing things the same way? And that needs to continue.
Yeah, for sure. So for everybody joining us out there, we are live on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. And I'm not going to ask everybody like I normally do why we go to Twitch, but we're on Twitch because that's where all the young people are. They play their VR, virtual reality, AR games, all of those things. They've been doing it a lot longer than we have been using digital twins and BIM in our industry. So it's a great place to reach out to them, because they have not been coming to us. All right. So with that said, please hit that like and share button right now. And if you are not following one of these industry leaders, please go and follow them, follow their companies, follow their employees. They're doing amazing things. They are leading the way. And that's what's so great about each and every one of them. With that said, let's get to question number 2. Helping others avoid mistakes and achieve success. How can we take the lessons learned to help others and avoid mistakes and achieve success in our industry? Helena?
I think that success in our industry is really making everything better a little bit at a time. I mean, we are in this industry where we have the opportunity to learn from project to project. That's why it's industrialized. So if you have that learning cycle inside your company and inside your brain, the brains of your people, it's going to go well for you. And the leadership task in such an organization is to really focus all those minds and all those efforts into the business model and move forward.
Yeah, for sure. So, hey, breaking news, everybody. Rick Murdock is joining us. Rick Murdock, how are you?
Great. Thank you. Thank you. Happy to be here.
Yeah, we're glad to have you, Rick. We got started without you, but you knew that was coming. So we're just doing a round robin, and I'll put you in there as we go along. But the question is helping others avoid mistakes and achieve success. What are the learnings from Katerra that we can use these things for? So, Hardy, let's go back to question number 2 with you, and we'll keep going.
Helping others avoid mistakes and achieve success. There's so much that we know today from other business cases about being focused, sticking to your primary objectives, and not spreading yourself too thin. I mentioned in my previous comments that Structurlam is a pure play mass timber company. That's all we do. We're nearly 60 years old as a company, and we have always been in the engineered wood product space. So knowing what you're good at, being better than everyone else at that craft is essential. But you also have to have the leadership capability to have everyone in your organization pulling in the same direction and buying into your strategy, because at the end of the day, it's not the machinery that wins the day, it's the people that tell the machines what to do. And we're very blessed at Structurlam to have some of the best industry experts working in our company today.
Perfect. Thank you. Gerry, you're up next. Helping others avoid mistakes and achieve success.
Well, I mean, these are sound like cliches, and I genuinely believe them. There's a few expressions that come to mind. I mean, one of them is that, again, go back to nothing beats experience. And the sign of a smart person is somebody who employs people who are smarter than he is. And I think that, again, at the leadership level, that's an important thing for people to realize, that when you go out, you may have the greatest idea in the world, but you need to surround yourself people who are, as Hardy said, experts in that field and have a history and have got the scars on their back, have been through it, understand what they're facing. I mean, I like the other expression that says, it's not what you know that you don't know that catches you out. It's what you know for certain, but that you don't know that catches you out. And I think that in the case of Katerra, there was a little bit of that in coming in, thinking that they saw the problem and they understood exactly what it was, and therefore they were going to go straight at that. But they didn't surround themselves with other people to come along and say, no, you're not maybe seeing that from a correct perspective, where you don't really understand how this industry operates. That seems to me at the leadership level was one of the biggest mistakes there. So always surround yourself with people who have experience, who have knowledge, who have the scars on their backs. I think that for any business, that's what we've done here at Entekra. Yeah. The team that's here have 10, 20, 30 years of experience each at the senior level in this industry. And we've all made a lot of mistakes along the way, but we have a lot of experience.
Yeah, for sure. This whole panel, if we think about the experience behind, it's amazing, and you all are doing amazing things in each one of your verticals. All right, so Rick, we're going to nail you with 2 questions to catch you up. You missed the first question, so why don't we start there, and then we'll go to question 2, just so we can catch you into what are the biggest lessons learned from Katerra in your mind?
In my mind, from what I can understand, is the lack of focus on what they were really trying to do, and trying to grow too fast, too strong, and taking on more than what they could handle. I know here at Autovol, what we focus on is manufacturing because that's what we're good at. And we try to get better and better and better each time that we do a different project, each time we learn from the mistakes that we made from the last project. We don't try to go out there and create something that we're not familiar with or something that the entire team isn't familiar with. And to go back to what I just heard, which I truly believe is true, surround yourself with people smarter than you are, people that know more about each one of the items that you're trying to defeat and try to conquer, and have that education there. And then in our industry, you need to understand the manufacturing side as well as the on-site sides to fully understand what the expectations are and be able to reach them.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you. And then question number 2, which will catch you up with everybody here, helping others avoid mistakes and achieve success. What would be your advice?
To achieve success, you have to learn from your mistakes. And when you make mistakes and you go back to the root cause, and it's fine to make mistakes. Our industry makes mistakes all the time. But as I tell other people, let's make the mistake once. And then tomorrow, let's make a different mistake. Learn from the first one. If you make a second mistake, learn from that. And don't make the same mistake over and over. I would think that the other thing that's critical is be humble enough to, when you're in over your head or you're having issues, reach out to one of those or all of those that could possibly help you to avoid the pitfalls that they're facing, and help give them a better education, if possible, to accomplish what they're trying to do. And I think that our industry as a whole, when do we learn our best? When do we get the best education? And a lot of times that's through failure, but none of us talk about our failures. Have the ability to talk about where you fell short, talk about your failures, what happened to you, in order to educate others. Don't go down that road. It's already been tried, it's already been done, and it didn't work. But be able to openly talk about, without shame, issues that you had, problems that you had that might help others avoid them.
Yeah, and that's part of this whole collaboration that we're having here today. All right, Ben, let's ask you question number 2 as well. Helping others avoid mistakes. What is your advice?
Yeah, sure. One of the things that I think is, a really, when you think about what were the mistakes that were made, part of that was the recognition that I've got to get product out the door, and using my capital wisely. I always think about, if you look at the 4 companies here between Lindbacks, Autovol, Structurlam, and Entekra, one of the recognitions they had was that I've got to start moving product as quickly as I can out the door. And like Rick just said, you're going to make mistakes. Recognize what those mistakes are, correct them, and make sure that the team recognizes, hey, we're going to make mistakes in the future. And again, just to echo, you can't keep making the same mistakes. The other thing is just really making sure that they understand. I hear this within our own team, is making sure our customers understand the complexity of the manufacturing process, and then also self-performing in the field. It's not for the faint of heart, but it can be accomplished. And really, if you understand that, you've got a process in place, a process that you're following throughout. You're learning from mistakes that are made and changing that process, but you're essentially continuing to evolve that process with the goal that I'm still pushing product out the door. I think that's a key thing that people have got to take from this. Again, it's an unfortunate failure. We hate to see these things happen, but if we learn from that and we use those same learnings and apply it to the next, as somebody might say, the next version of this, let's just do it better.
Yeah, I agree with that. All right, so the comment section is lighting up, which is expected. If you have a question, and we'll get to a Q&A at the end, we're not going to be able to get through every comment and question. Everybody was kind enough to jump on this last minute, which we were very blessed with. Please put a Q in front of your question, and we'll get to those when we get to the end of our questions here. So, all right, thank you for that, Ben. All right, a big part of Katerra are the people. Welcoming the Katerra employees. What are we doing as an industry to help these employees? How do we help these employees? There's a lot of smart people that learned a lot of great lessons, learned about IP that Katerra had, all kinds of stuff. And I think that's a big advantage for those of us already in the industry. Helena, what would be your thoughts on that?
No, I think it's really an opportunity for the entire industry. There are people who have this experience, who have been trained, and furthermore trained in digitalization, which I understand was a big part of the idea with Katerra, is something that we need. And we need that kind of spirit that everything is possible. So I would welcome everyone that would like to be part of the Swedish industry and our company if they are interested. Just reach out and see what we can invent and think of together. And it doesn't have to be a very long-term or even a rigid connection. It can just be a conversation. It's a good opportunity for the people who's been with Katerra to really expand into the industry and help us with the new ideas that we might be missing.
I love it. That was great. Hardy, how is Structurlam looking at what's happening with all the employees that are out there, and how do we welcome them?
Yeah, there is no question that Katerra had some absolutely brilliant people with great talents, and it certainly causes me to think which and who of those folks could be a part of Structurlam. And if it's not Structurlam, that skill set that they possess could easily be translated into any one of the companies that are being interviewed today, because there is a common denominator here, and that is to build better, build faster, build more economically. And that was one of the key ingredients of the ethos of Katerra. So I think their stars will find good places at the backside of all of this.
Yeah, I agree with that wholeheartedly. All right, Gerry, how about yourself? What is Katerra doing to help these employees and to take lessons learned and make Katerra better?
Well, I mean, locally we see this as an opportunity in many regards, as they have a plant here about 20 miles away from where we're currently located in Tracy, California. So we've already reached out to their HR department and are offering interviews to all of the people there who want to potentially come and work for Entekra at all levels, regardless of whether it's in their admin, marketing, technical, or in their manufacturing. So and if there's any of them listening here, we are wide open and welcoming you with open arms. Please make contact with us as soon as you can. So we're excited about the opportunity of getting, as people said, I mean, there's some very, very skilled and trained people working for Katerra who now understand the offsite industry. So we're here waiting. Lots of opportunity here at Entekra.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Rick Murdock, how about yourself? What is Autovol looking to add to their solutionaires, is what you call the team members? So tell us what your thoughts are.
Exactly, and I'll echo what the other guys said. We're very interested in those that have worked for Katerra, because they're bound to have an amazing amount of experience, and plus they bound to have had some failures that they learned from and got better at. So with Autovol, we're in expansion mode. We're growing. We're increasing our volumes, and we could certainly use any great folks coming out of that company to come help us grow ours. So there's an open invitation, and we'll try to reach out to those that might have an interest in moving to Idaho from California. We have a big influx coming over here anyway. So yeah, it'd be nice to have those people join our company and help us grow.
I love it. I love it. All right. And Ben Hershey, I think this is an interesting question for you and Forward Solutions Group, because you do work across all the verticals in this industry. And so what would Forward Solutions Group be looking to do to help all the different people in the industry that you work with and collaborate with, not only here, but globally?
Yeah, this really is a great question, because there, as everybody has said, there are some really good employees at Katerra. Let's not forget that depending on who you talk to, we have a shortage of 350,000 employees in the construction industry right now. Many of us are getting calls daily saying, hey, do you know somebody X? I'm looking for this position. I'm looking for this many people. Within Forward, we're certainly positioned that many of these employees have already reached out to us. We're already helping several find homes that either within our team, as we continue to grow and support plants, but more importantly, for our clients and many others to be able to say, hey, look, here's a quality individual, and we're helping them find a job at companies. And again, I just can't stress enough. I mean, I think I just heard Rick say this. They've made some mistakes, and hopefully from that, I think sometimes it's better for, if you're bringing in an employee, they know how to learn from those mistakes. And it's good that they have those in the past because they have that ability, that capability, as you step into your operation to look at the process, whatever that may be, your productivity, and be able to make recommendations based on what their experience is.
Yeah, for sure. All right, great. All right, so we're going to have one more question. Then we're going to go to comments and questions in the audience, and then we're going to come back to wrap it up. But this next question is a big one. This is what I think a lot of people are really interested in, and that is, what are the financial implications of what is happening, right? I think last I heard, and correct me if I'm wrong, they were into this at about $2.4 billion. Is that an accurate number? I mean, I see a lot of... But it's a lot of money. So what are the financial implications for this, and how does it affect our industry, people looking to acquire money for our industry to grow or to develop? Helena, we'll start with you.
Yeah, I'm across the Atlantic, so maybe this is not really affecting our position in Europe as strongly as it would on the American side. But I think that many has looked to Katerra as a beacon. Finally someone comes with a huge pile of money and going to do a substantial investment, and they're going in a line of direction that many have thought this will be the success. So this failure will of course affect us, and it will affect us in the sense that people will say, look, it didn't work this time either, and maybe the finances will be a little bit more reluctant to invest. And this is why I still believe that you need to have a very strong and focused idea if you want to move forward, because that is something that most investors also like.
Yeah, no, I agree. And how about Structurlam, Hardy? What is your thoughts on the financial implications?
Well, there is no doubt that the investors in this business have suffered tremendous losses. However, that said, my company is a private equity-backed company. So, I have a similar kind of investor at Structurlam. But I have a bit more of an optimistic view, albeit the what we're talking about today is not so optimistic. But the mass timber movement in North America is vibrant, and it is growing. We have code changes now in place in Canada and the U.S. that allows mass timber buildings to reach a height class of 12 stories in Canada and 18 stories in the US. In our sales funnel, we have a tremendous amount of tall wood building opportunities that we're pursuing in both countries. The list is growing very quickly. And that just speaks to the fact that the adoption rate is beginning. I believe we've crossed over the chasm with mass timber. The products are codified, and what's really driving this is that this climate smart construction concept that so many architects and developers are now talking about. They're talking about natural materials, using wood to displace concrete and steel, because our built environment contributes nearly half of the greenhouse gas emissions, and we mass timber addresses that, and that's why there's such a strong movement afoot, and that is also why so many blue chip brands such as Google, Microsoft, Walmart have chosen mass timber for several of their construction projects. So this is going to cause some pause. There is no question. It's going to take some time to absorb this. but we are definitely on a trajectory for growth here in North America, where, and to Helena's point, mass timber has been in Europe now for nearly 30 years. The movement here in North America only began in 2011, where CLT was introduced. Glulam technology has been in North America for over 100 years.
Yeah, you're right, Hardy. There is a big movement right now with mass timber construction. So I would second that. Gerry, what is your What is your thoughts on the financial implications of this?
Well, I mean, I think it probably is going to have, it's going to cause pause for some of the people who are potentially thinking of investing in the industry. But overall, I don't know if it's going to have as negative an impact as many people think, because I think the story was well and truly marked. So you use that expression, it's priced into the market, so to speak. People have known for quite a while now that there were difficulties here. There were difficulties in other SoftBank related companies we worked. So I don't know that you can actually that the investor community is going to look at that and say it's necessarily an issue with offsite construction or construction related investments. I think the market has been expecting this for quite a while. So I think it's, to anybody that's thinking about the industry, back to some of the earlier comments today, look at the team, look at the people who do they have the experience in the industry, whether it's in mass timber, volumetric, panelization. Look at the team, look at the senior team. They're the people you're investing in. So I'm sure this too shall pass.
For sure. All right, Mr. Rick Murdock, what are the financial implications in your eyes?
Well, I think that the industry is going to feel it because I do think there's going to be hesitation after such a large loss. At the same time, I think the demand might outpace the concern. And if you view those that are focused on what they're doing what they're best at, and are being successful at it, I think it's a good storyline to move forward, that not everyone fails. Anytime that you're a pioneer, you're going to catch the arrow. Sometimes you can survive that, sometimes you can't. But overall, as an industry, there's certainly great performers out there that are doing their job. They're very focused on what they're doing. And it's a big encouragement to those that want to invest in the industry. And our industry is what's going to be able to meet the capacity needs and the demand that's out there right now.
Great. Thank you, Rick. All right, Ben, what is your thoughts on this?
Well, we work with multiple investment groups throughout North America. And, as already said, I mean, really part of the Katerra issue has been priced into the market, or that, that sting has already been there. But, we're going to see maybe some hesitation. But I think the significant thing that we hear constantly from investors is we either connect them with entrepreneurs out there that are looking to start something or expand operations, or even those who want to, start their own operations. One of the key things is we want to make sure we're going in with this, with eyes wide open. We've got a good process. We've got a good business plan that it recognizes that, yes, there's going to be some hiccups along the way. And as I said before, capital does not solve all those issues. But, if you've got the right team in place, you got the right team around you, the investors, I mean, they recognize that there's lots of opportunities in the housing industry to continue to change, again, that dynamic of how are we delivering houses. We were just in the, we have a customer down in the Phoenix area. And, I've always told people this, I recognize, so here's Phoenix, in the high back in 2006, going into 2007, there was roughly 70,000 starts in the Phoenix metropolitan area. This year, and they're thinking this year is a good year, they're barely going to hit 30,000. But the capacity need is somewhere in the 50,000 range. So you're at least 20,000 houses short. And that's been going on for several years now. So from a perspective of, what is that housing need? I think that's what the encouragement for investors is that they recognize, hey, we still need to find a way to deliver capacity to the market, but deliver it in an affordable and effective manner. We want to make sure that entire process is done correctly.
Yeah, for sure. All right, everybody. Thanks for those answers. Let's go and see what we have. Oh my goodness, we're going to be here for a while if I hit all of these. So we'll go a couple shout outs here. George Ryman. Actually, here you go. George Ryman was hello for Katerra. He was employee number 50. So sad to witness the downward spiral internally. So appreciate you tuning in there, George. Let me scroll down here. Right now, we're pushing over 50 comments, everyone. So it's a lot to get through. I love it. Andrew Seeley says, seriously high value panel and topic today. Thank you so much. And we have Etienne Gubler. Good afternoon from Minnesota. What a great panel today. With many talented Katerra employees available on the market, do you plan to expand your business? Maybe Structurlam could take over the Spokane plant. I guess that's geared towards you, Hardy.
Yeah, I guess that has my name on it, doesn't it? Well, Etienne, merci beaucoup, but probably we should talk about that one offline.
I love it. All right. Thank you, Etienne, for your comment. We'll move down the line here. Gilbert Meyer says, there are limits to automate traditional home building. To increase automation, you have to reinvent building technologies to make it more suitable for mass production. This includes new materials. Thank you for your comment, Gilbert. Gary Fleischer, the mod coach, says, what is missing in our industry is a transition of knowledge. Now that's a great comment, right? This comes down to the collaboration. This comes down to all of us being on this panel today and talking. And this is a big deal for our industry to have so many high-level leaders on this panel finally starting to share and collaborate and come together. What is your thoughts on that comment? And Helena, I'll start with you on that.
No, it's a great comment. Thank you. No, I always argue that the industry we're in, at least in my setting, it's very small. So we're not fighting with each other. We have to fight with the rest of the building industry. And we often work together with some of the competitors, some of them who are directly competing with us to take deals and move forward. And we always find ways to collaborate on things that are not crucial for our business. So, for example, some of our technical solutions and some of the things that are disturbing when it comes to city and their rules and so forth, that's something that we can work on together. So I really think that we need to work together as an industry to grow the industry. And also from the Swedish perspective, it's really important to do that for the sake of sustainability. We know that this is a good technology to move that forward.
Thank you. And Hardy, I think this is a great question for all of you. Well, how do you see the transition of knowledge and people sharing as this industry grows and becomes more than the 4 or 5% it traditionally has been?
Yeah, I have to say that in the North American landscape with mass timber, that there has been a tremendous amount of knowledge sharing, and it's not only amongst manufacturers, but it's also suppliers to the manufacturers of mass timbers, the way we go to market in speaking to building owners, architects, engineers. Lots of, I just have to say there is an awful lot of knowledge sharing happening. And I think it's quite consistent amongst the other speakers on your panel today, that the knowledge transfer, and especially with the world that we live, the digital world that we live in today, secrets don't last for long, and we are sharing them quite freely.
Yeah, for sure. Gerry, your thoughts on this?
I agree. I mean, I like to think pretty much as open as anybody could be about what we do, how we do it, what we're trying to achieve, providing information. I mean, I'd actually tell you a story that right at the very, very early days of Katerra, we got phone calls from Katerra staff looking for information on how to do things, and we provided them with the information, even down to what type of equipment and what type of software we were using, and we provided them with the information. Because to us, as I think Helena said it, our competitors are not other people who are in off-site construction. Our competitors are the people who are doing traditional construction.
Yeah.
So the more people who enter the off-site industry, it's another indicator that the industry is actually moving that direction. So from our perspective, we're all in favor of encouraging, helping, collaborating
Yeah.
to grow our side of the industry.
For sure. All right, Rick, what is your thoughts on this?
You know, Dave, I think that part of the issues with manufacturing is the lack of collaboration, especially here in the U.S. I know that most manufacturers have a secret sauce. Most manufacturers don't want to share successes or failures, and I think that that's a mistake that we all make. I think that we need to be very open with each other and help each other avoid the pitfalls, and then share everything we can in order to build one industry that can really totally supply the demand out there and become a much bigger force in the market.
Yeah, I agree. We could definitely do better on all fronts. Ben, what is your thoughts?
Well, you know, Dave, I think this show is the start of that. You know, being able to collaborate together to talk about some of the issues that are going on. You know, I've listened to many shows that you do, and the leaders that are on this call right now, and being able to talk about this. This is what I experience in my own business, and as long as we're open about that, you know, I also think that, you know, associations need to step up. They need to change what they're doing to be able to share best practices. There's a couple associations out there that do that today. SBCA is very good on the component side. We need to see the same from some of the other associations that, you know, as your members are gathering, as we're gathering in this forum today, that we're talking about what are those best practices. You know, Rick's right. I mean, there are some secret sauces that people have to maybe a individual process or what I'm, you know, doing exactly to the field as far as delivery, but there really isn't from the perspective of machinery and just those basic things that we should do, or, you know, even getting together and trying to say, how do we work with building departments to gain more acceptance of modular, not manufactured home, not the, you know, mobile home that so many building inspectors think that's what you're delivering. It's not. It's being able to say, how as an industry, how is this group and the people that are listening today, how do we get together to really become a force with those building departments and really effectively communicate to them why modular really is effective, why offsite construction is so important.
Yeah, Ben, I agree with that, and I hope this is the start on Dave Cooper Live of bringing all of those different industries together, whether it's the modular component side, SIPs, panelization, all of it. I think we're going to go further, faster if we come together and have a single voice versus all of us staying in our own little silos. So hopefully this is the start of that commitment. So thank you for that answer as well. All right, let's go back to another comment. And I also think is a good question, and my guess is you're probably all thinking about this. We're going to go to the treehouse with Tim Sims. Hi from the treehouse. Great to see you all today. And if you don't know Tim, he really is in a treehouse, which is amazing. So his question is, if you had to acquire one piece of a Katerra, what would it be and why? That's a great question. Helena, I'm looking forward to your answer on this.
I'm looking forward too. No, I would really like to grasp one or two of the digitalization guys. That's what I'm after. I have this, you know, I work at a factory where we have a high level of automation, and I always look for people who are good in that, you know, taking manufacturing and digital knowledge and merging that into something that is kind of a new, very rare property, and that would be my takeaway.
Great. Thank you for that. All right, Hardy, how about you? What would be the one thing you'd like to acquire from Katerra?
I think Etienne Gubler has already mapped out a direction for me. But obviously, there are physical assets that are, you know, would be of interest. But I think the people component is also of keen interest to me. So any of the mass timber specialists or specialized skill set around the design of mass timber, the manufacturing and fabrication of mass timber, and selling of mass timber, you know, we need, my company needs the best of the best. So be looking at the not just the hardware aspect or the physical assets, but the software, the people that make it happen.
Yeah, I agree. Gerry, you're up. What's the most important thing for you?
It would be the same thing as Hardy. It would be people, and I think myself and Helena might end up competing for the same people as well, because I would like to get those digitalization experts as well, because obviously myself and Helena share pretty much the same type of automation in our factories. So, you know, having those kind of people is extremely important to us. So,
yeah.
And it would be people. I mean, we're very, I'm saying this, hopefully we're very lucky in the fact that we're only about 25 miles away from one of our plants, the Tracy plant. So I'm hoping that it's not a big, I mean, Rick is dead right. There's a lot of people from California moving to Idaho, so maybe he'll get a few of those too. Ours is a little bit shorter, a little bit of a shorter drive, but I think I think those people. I mean, I think this is a good opportunity for us and all of us in the industry.
Yeah, for sure. I'm in Idaho, so I vouch for that. And Utah, same thing. Every other person seems like they're from California, so that could be a great opportunity. What's your thoughts on that, Rick?
Again, human capital. Those people with the experience. Obviously, we're into automation and robotics for the first time with Autovol, so we're pioneering so much of that right now. And the more human capital we had with education in that field that could really come in here and help us take it to the next level would be more than welcome.
Yeah, for sure. And Ben, I have a feeling you're going to second a lot of this stuff. So go ahead. Tell us what
I really am. You know, it's interesting because it's the same comment. The human capital really is the asset that is best acquired right now. There's a lot of knowledge there that can be translated within the industry, and really ideas that you can incorporate into your own business plan and say, where does that fit? You know, the people that are thinking, oh, the physical assets, I'm going to be able to grab that. You know, that's going to be a mess for a while. And then, you know, you've got multiple investors. You think of Credit Suisse, Greensill Capital, SoftBank. You know, it's going to be a while before all that's untied. So from a physical asset, you know, you're not going to see that. But human capital, we need to step up as an industry, and we need to say, where do these people fit into our businesses, and how can they help us continue to move the dynamic of offsite manufacturing?
Yeah, I agree. Thank you for that. All right, another question from Gilbert Meyer. To what level can traditional building technology be automated? What level can traditional building technology be automated? Helena, you wanna give us a quick answer on that?
It's a tough question. Yeah, it's a tough question, really. Not my world, but I've seen some efforts being done, and it's mostly that you automate some of your work tasks, like laying brick or doing some building some wall or doing some chipboard or something like that. And it's for me, that's not the way I would want to do it. I would want to look at the process instead and see if it could be shorter. But then it's not automation. For sure. How about Structurlam, Hardy?
I think a lot of this panel speaks to the automation of traditional building technology in spades. Everybody is approaching it from a different angle, and we're all attacking different segments of the market. So automation is definitely needs to take place in the traditional building of any form of construction. So it is happening. And I just need to add here too that we've seen other things, misadventures in our industry, like what we're talking about today. I mean, we've seen in the UK, you had Legal and General Insurance planning a massive investment for addressing the affordable housing situation in England. That didn't really get off the ground after, massive investment as well. We saw back in the early 2000s, 2005 to 2007, we saw Weyerhaeuser try to organize their wood products manufacturing of all their lumber and OSB and engineered wood and plywood and building materials distribution under an umbrella called iLevel. Unfortunately, that ran into the global financial crisis of 2008, which thwarted that effort. So, this is not the first time we've tried to see a company address a big issue and have a noble cause. Sometimes it's too big and it doesn't work, and other times there is progress made. So,
yeah, for sure. All right, Gerry, what's your take on that? To what level can traditional building technology be automated?
I don't really understand the question. In one sense, is he talking about actually physically on site, or taking the on-site processes and bringing them into a factory and automating, which is what we always pretty much here on the panel actually do? I mean, Helena doesn't really tell the full, or Rick. I mean, look at the two of them. I mean, they're even far more automated and advanced than what we do, because they're going into full-blown modules and closed panel type operations. So I mean, it can be taken to the nth degree. I mean, there is effectively, it's well tried, tested, and proven now that you can basically build the house in a factory, whether you want to build it in volumetric modules or you want to build it in advanced panelization with closed panel with exterior finishes already on them. It's done. It's absolutely being done every single day of the week in many places around the world. I mean, I haven't had the pleasure of going around Helena's plant, but I had the pleasure of going around Schwerhaus in Germany several times. And when you see what they're doing in terms of completely finished wall sections, interior and exterior in closed panel, they basically slot together. I mean, so how far can you take it? You can take it as far as you want to take it. That's genuinely the answer to that question.
Sure. Rick, being that you guys are building an automated volumetric manufacturing facility, what's your take on this? And also, just so everybody knows, for respective time, we're almost at our hour. If we don't get to your question or comments, everybody on the panel, I'm hoping we'll take the time to take a look at what the questions were and maybe provide some feedback. There's just so much coming in, and it's amazing, and we're grateful for all of you, and we'd love to get to all of you, because without your support, we can't have shows like this. Go ahead, Rick. What's your thought on the automation side?
For traditional construction, it was brought up earlier. I've seen some automation that does some bricklaying and so forth. I've also witnessed some automation that does drywall work and so forth. But that needs to be further reviewed and the mind opened up to what could be possible for an on-site automation process. But it also makes me think that maybe now is a good time for traditional construction to look at modular construction, not as an enemy or someone that's against them, but someone that can be a very big value to them. Because in every project that you do, whether it be manufactured in a plant or on site, you're going to have on-site work. You've got an off-site perspective of that, you got an on-site, and both of those have to be combined to really truly do a project if you're in manufacturing. So maybe it's a good time for traditional construction to look at manufacturing more than what they have in the past, and vice versa.
Yeah, for sure. Ben, you want to give us your take on this?
Yeah, let me just echo the thoughts from everybody that's already been said. I mean, yes, automation is possible. We need to continue to automate processes throughout the plant, throughout the field. I mean, in both cases. And that may require us to change some of the building materials that we use. Let me twist it a different direction. So we talk about how do we attract people into our industry. And it's funny, Dave, you said at the beginning here, our Twitch audience. And so the Twitch audience, that Generation Z, even that, the generation prior and the generation coming up, you think about how they were taught. I always joke that, equipment manufacturers, one of the key mistakes they make with the machinery is that they're not using a joystick, that game controller to control the machine. But it's more than that. It's really looking at, that type of automation that we're using, because that's also an attractor for our industry. People look at that and they say, wow, okay, they're not back in the dark ages. They're not building a house the same way they used to back in the 60s and 70s. Granted, yes, we've made a lot of advances since then with panelization, things like that, but we got to move to that next step. And we've got to, as business owners, as leaders, we've got to encourage that automation, because there's really a lot of opportunity. Yes, we could try things. One of the learnings from Katerra, they were trying a lot of different things. They were spending a lot of capital very, very quickly to try things. You just need to be smart about how you do those trials and what it is that you're trying to accomplish.
Yeah, for sure. I'm gonna put one more comment up, and this one's for Gerry, just to make his hair stand up a little bit. Gerry, George Ramirez, is Gerry interested in purchasing the Katerra Tracy, California plant?
No. We have like between our plant here in Modesto and our plant in Ripon, we already have about 230,000 square feet of automated plant that is fully kitted out and ready to go. So it is going so. No, unfortunately, but I am very interested in the people. Very interested. But I want to take one thing on Ben's comment, and I agree with this completely. And I think this is really a topic that is a failure at leadership level throughout the U.S. construction industry, which is, you said earlier on, if we're short 300 to 400,000 people, which we are, and everybody in the industry is going to say that they can't get enough employees, and you can't get young people to come into the industry. And failure to recognize that this generation, literally, I use the expression, grew up with an iPad in one hand and an iPhone in the other. How does traditional construction methods appeal to those people? It doesn't. It's people like Helena and Rick and Hardy and ourselves who are bringing that level. And you walk around our plants and you see the age of the people who work in it. They're young guys.
Yeah.
They could choose to be on a building site, but they'll come here because they get excited. I actually. Quick story. So the other night I was walking around on our second shift, and one of the guys on our special section, and I was just having a chat with him, and he said to me, I went back and I came back here. I love it. I love this equipment. I love what it does. I love the feel of this place. That's sure that's the equivalent in Helena, Hardy, and Rick's facilities as well. The young people, they embrace that. This is where the industry needs to go.
Yeah, I agree. I've been in a lot of manufacturing facilities, and that culture, that bringing the technology in so people can work with what they feel like they have growth at and what they can learn from and move forward. But the culture itself, Rick, you call your team solutioneers, is such a huge part to every business's success. Helena, I saw it when we did the live walkthrough on your manufacturing as well. So I second that. All right, so we're at an hour. Let's get the last question in out of respect for everybody's time here. All right, I'm going to put the banner up. All right, so this news will bring a lot of attention to the offsite construction industry. What is the narrative we want to create? What's the positive spin here? Does this make room for others to capture the headlines for the people who are actually delivering what they set out to accomplish? Because like yourself, you guys have all been in this industry, and you're making big waves and growing. So what is your take on this? We'll start with you, Helena.
Well, I think the headline in offsite construction is that this is the solution for the future. If we're looking at what our country needs, but I guess that what your country also needs, we need a lot of dwellings. We need them fast, and we need them sustainable. So there is nothing to say that this shouldn't be the method, and we're actually growing. So if we're looking at the section where I'm working, it's multifamily housing. We're now at an industry level, 20% of everything that is produced is made off-site timber. And that has grown from 14% for just 3 years ago. So this is going in the right direction. And I think this is the headline that I would like to send to everybody.
Yeah, I second that. Structurlam and Hardy, what's your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I don't think the narrative has to change. Where the headline remains. It's about climate smart construction. It's about off-site construction, and we just have to keep pushing the narrative forward and continue to make our inroads.
Yeah, I agree. Gerry McCaughey, your thoughts on the headlines?
I mean, I think we continue on doing what we're doing. I think the noise around the Katerra situation at the moment is unfortunate, and it is a distraction, but it doesn't change, I think, anything that any one of us is doing on a day-to-day basis. I mean, we're growing our customer base, just as I'm sure all the other manufacturers here are doing on a day-by-day basis. I mean, even last night on LinkedIn, I got an email. Somebody, you may have seen it. Somebody asked me, do we have the capability of supplying 200 houses to them? I mean, it's offsite. Offsite will continue to grow as it proves itself, regardless of this unfortunate situation. So I think it's just keep on doing what we're doing. Offsite works. It is the future of construction, and just keep on doing what we're doing.
Yeah, I agree. Rick, your thoughts on
it? I'd echo that as well. I don't think our messaging needs to change. What we're doing, I think, is correct. I think the promotion of automation and robotics is the wave of the future. I think it's how we bring young people into construction and keep them there. And I also look at every industry that there is outside of construction has failed at one time or another. And that information was taken in. It helped people grow. The knowledge that we got from it helped us to be better at what we do. Certainly what's happened with Katerra will give us pause. It'll make us be more sure about the direction we're headed, more focused about how we're going to get there, and more focused about how do we respond to our investors and be able to give them what we promised.
Yeah, for sure. Ben, you're up. What do you think the narrative is here?
Well, certainly, and just to echo everybody's comments here, but there is going to be a lot of noise for a short period here with regards to Katerra, and there's going to be a lot of opinions given. But I think the key thing is what's already been said, and that is, hey, we've got to learn from those mistakes, but we got to keep pushing the narrative forward on offsite. We're doing a lot of cool things, and even you see it in this group here. So we've got two doing volumetric. We've got Entekra, who's very focused on a high level of panelization, and then you've got Structurlam focused on the CLT wall and the approach that is. Those are all methods that are offsite, and so there's really cool things that are being done there. So we got to keep pushing that forward. Learn from what's happened. Learn from what some of the things they did, and kind of block out some of that noise that's going to go on for a while. From a lot of people who are going to say talking heads, as you might term it. So
for sure. Hey, listen, even Walmart went bankrupt 3 or 4 times before they made it. There's lessons learned, like Rick and everybody else said, throughout all of our industries. All right, everybody, listen, out of respect for the time for the panelists, we're going to round out our last question. We're going to ask each of you, what is your one takeaway that you would like to leave with the audience from what you do every day, your one thing, or what you learned from Katerra? And then I promise you we'll get back to all the comments and questions after the show. So we didn't forget about you. Helena, you want to go first? What's your one thing?
It's my one thing. The one thing that makes me stay in this business and work together is to do exactly that. Be open and collaborate. That's what makes life fun.
I love it. All right, Hardy. I think the message I would leave the team with and the audience is that the one aspect of Structurlam and our team at Structurlam is that everybody at the company gets a real motivation around making buildings that address the big problem that we have today with climate change. We get to work on buildings that we're very passionate about. Buildings where people live, where people work, where people play. All these mass timber structures are phenomenal structures. And my advice would be is to find that one thing that your business can deliver value on and be better at it than anybody else.
Yeah, I agree. I like that. Gerry, what's your one thing?
I would echo, I'm sort of full of these expressions. I would echo what Hardy said. My dad said to me many times over the years when I was looking to work with him for 30 years of my life, when people would ask us, well, why don't you go into house building, or why don't you do this, or why don't you do the other thing? And my dad's expression was, do one thing and do it well. Stick to the knitting. Do what you know. And I think that's the lesson, I suppose, that maybe came out of the Katerra situation, is trying to bite off more than you can chew. So that would be my one lesson to be done, is pick the area that you want to concentrate on it, and be the best that you can be in that particular area. There's more than enough business there if you're good enough at doing it. You don't need to go after everything.
For sure. Rick, how about you? What's your one thing?
Well, that the demand is already larger than what we're able to produce traditionally. The demand's going to grow, not shrink. And what other better resource do you have than to expand and grow offsite construction in conjunction with traditional construction?
All right, thank you for that. All right, Ben Hershey, I'm going to ask you what your one thing is, and being somebody, like I said, that works with all the different people within the industry of offsite. Why don't you round out the show with your thoughts and what your one thing is, and if you have any questions you want to pose to the panelists, feel free to do that as well.
Sure. I think that the one thing that we're seeing this, and that it's in this show today, and that's the importance of collaboration, talking about best practices, talking about those things that will make us better. I always think about our team, the forward team, and how we really have a lot of different experts in multiple different areas. And it's always trying to say, for a company, you need to do the same thing. And that is, Gerry's comment was great, right on. Do that one thing and do it best, but also recognize that, hey, if I need help in an area, there are experts out there that can help you. And being open to how do I bring them into the equation to advance my company, advance the mission, the value of what we want to bring to the field. I think that's a key thing that we always want to look at. And help companies with. To the panel here, one of the things that I always, each one of them, as I said, there's expertise in each of these areas, and they're doing some very creative things. I think the question I'd have is, do you see in offsite, is there one area that we're still missing that we haven't addressed? You've got CLT, you've got a high level of that panelization, that closed wall system, and you've got two different models of volumetric that are coming to the market. What is it that we're still missing that we needed to address as an industry for offsite? Pretty broad, might be too much of a question for too long, but certainly something to think about.
Oh, how about quick answers?
Yeah.
If somebody has a thought.
Yeah, I do. Interaction with market could be much improved. There are technology we know. I agree with Gerry on that one. We know how to do this stuff, but the interaction with market is an area where we need to grow more and learn how do they fit together. What can we do with it?
And I would say that in the US, in particular, there really hasn't been enough effort made to, I suppose, to educate the powers that be about, not necessarily the advantages, I'm talking now about the regulators and the cities and the code specialists, but how offsite construction really works and the benefits that it brings in terms of quality, not necessarily the benefits that it brings in terms of speed on site, but from their perspective, the benefits that it brings in terms of quality. Because you almost have this opposite view in the United States where you think people initial reaction can be, if it's built in a factory, therefore it's of lower quality, which is the opposite almost to the European view of things, or the Japanese view of things, which is in a factory, it's a higher quality. But here, I think in the US, we still lack that in terms of educating the powers that be and getting the regulations, I suppose, modified to make it more efficient for all types of offsite construction to be used. We're still fighting some crazy battles in that area because the codes and the regulations were written for basically on-site construction, and nobody has ever changed them.
Sure. Gerry, I think that's a great comment. And it's one of those areas that I think all of us need to demand of our associations and those industries that can collaborate to really push on that issue.
Yeah, for sure. Love it. All right. Any other comments? Thoughts? All right. Listen, all of you, thank you so much for joining us today. I'm hoping that at Dave Cooper Live, we can continue these collaborative conversations. I would like this industry to start coming together. I know Rick, Gerry, Ben, Hardy, Helena, you guys are all about talking with each other and sharing. I think it's time that we stop being a fragmented industry in all of our different silos. Let's pull together. Let's push together, because I think we can take this market share. I think we can get the consumers to be asking for a better product, which we all build. And I think we could do it collectively together. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, I love it. Thank you guys. So everybody that's out there watching, we will go back in and gather all the comments and questions and try and get you answers. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to join us today. Helena, Hardy, Ben, Gerry, Rick, thank you so much for the last minute request to join the show. I'm Dave Cooper. All of you stay right there. I'll come back to you after the outro. And for the rest of you out there, we'll see you Friday on BS Friday with Mark Bare Naked Willie. We'll see you next time. Bye now.